One. Hello. Oh, here. This will be more accurate for how I feel today. Anyway, it's weird. Like all last night, my left side of the nose was just like draining. This one was dry. Now it's switched. It's rotated. I'm hoping they just do shifts until like tomorrow morning, and then I'm done. But we'll see. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry, everybody. Two wonderful. Hey, Chris. Two big announcements. We have an event coming up live at the 4 Point Arts, our 4 Point Arts Community's assemblage gallery on 70 Sleeper Street, across from the Barking Crab in the Seaport area. Carla Schwartz, who last featured for us, God, I think it was like about 14 years ago. And she's been featuring, and she's published at least 2 books since that time. She's also a filmmaker, a photographer. She does a lot, and she's going to be in the area. She spends a lot of her time in New Hampshire, but she's coming down for a special gig in Boston. So she's staying the night. So this will be a perfect opportunity for us to have her. So I'm very excited to have that. That week is going to be very loaded as well, because on October 15th, we have a special event coming up also at the Assemblage Gallery. The Assemblage Gallery is doing an open arts basically festival, which actually spans to all the galleries. So it's a 4 Point Arts thing. It's not just a assemblage thing. And there's another part of the gallery that we haven't performed at yet that they want us to on the 15th, and that'll be at 2:00. I might have a prior engagement and therefore not be able to go, because it has to do with charity work. And I am hoping that I already have picked a cast of characters. I've picked Ed Galt to host. I've picked an assemblage of poets. If you weren't one of the poets who I mentioned, and you're able to do a live show, and you'll let me, you'll let me give your name to Dwayne. Dwayne's just got mentioned as a Stone Soup thing, so I just figure it's a good showcase for all the poets, for people to come in and listen, and also do an open mic. Dwayne's going to love that. Dwayne is very, very pro open mic, which is why he wants to do a second show per month. And hopefully, when my girlfriend gets out of the woods with this injured knee, I'll be able to make that happen, at the very least, when the new year happens. So more on that later. So that's a ton of stuff coming up, and I'm hoping to get at least one more online feature for October. We'll make the announcement. Maybe it'll be a Halloween themed. I don't know, but it's nice to have that option and choice. It would be nice seeing Bill dressed up as the crypt keeper again. Yes. I know that's what you weren't dressed up as, but that's what I remember. So.
He has the hat for it.
He does. He truly does. So prepare for a much more exciting month than we've had. We've had great months with open mics, but I love getting new blood in there. I love that we have new blood tonight. Hi, Ronald, if you're there or not. Ron Bremer's with us from Parts Unknown. Well, John probably knows the parts, I don't. So I will get started with the open mic. The Ramdonator 5000 has already selected our first poet for the open mic, and now I'm going to ask him to unmute. Actually, it looks like he's already unmuted. Are you reading my mind, Ed? Okay, let's welcome Edward S. Galt, Magister Galt.
Thank you very much. This is an old one from practically one of my first published poems. It's called The Hostage. The guard is sitting just outside the door. I can see the shadow of his machine gun cast across the floor. Just sitting, nothing else, not much else to do. Watching a spider make its way up the wall, crawling into a crack. Escape. The guard didn't see. If it were only that simple. I have forgotten the name, the time, the hour, the day, the year. How long is it? How long have I been here? Couldn't say. And the family, mother's cherry pie, father's cigar smoke, sister's warm smile, brother's football. Where are they? on another planet in a dream. Still sitting, I closed my eyes, sort of tired, walking barefoot on the warm sandy beach, cold, salty seawater at my feet, driving my yellow convertible along the highway, wind blowing through my hair, the sun shining on my face. Dreams, those mysterious visions of the mind, another dimension in time and space. No boundaries, barriers are broken, and yet I see them, they are real. But so is the guard outside. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Pardon me if I take a few extra times to clear my throat and whatnot tonight. Again, I don't have COVID, just some kind of weird lingering flu. One of my coworkers got it, and somehow it got to me, even though we're both wearing masks and we work 8 doors down from each other. Who knew? So another announcement to make is Massachusetts Poetry Festival has asked for and has given an extension to deadlines for panel discussions and presentations. If there's anyone here who would be interested in doing a presentation or participating in one, definitely let me know. I'm at a loss for ideas, but of course I have a head cold. Hopefully, at the the only one I have is remote poetry readings. What the fuck were we thinking? I don't know if they'll take it. But if anyone is interested in participating, even if you want to just wait to see what the announcement is, that would be great. And it'll be great to have the Massachusetts Poetry Festival back in May, live, just before my birthday too, live with a number of participants, both live and online. So you can actually have an option to do an online presentation and a face-to-face, a live presentation with people. You can either do live, you can do Zoom, your choice. So if anyone's got ideas, drop them off. Up next, we're going to ask her to unmute. We missed her for a couple of weeks when my phone was busted and I didn't have access to my phone contact list. Let's welcome up Nancy Dodson.
Energy fades. Go to sleep, dear, and say, I want to feel rested today. What is that noise? Hum, hum. I must sleep. Yes, come, sleep, come. Hum, hum. I can't write. It's that noise again. I'll turn on the light. The neighbor's lights are out. No electricity occurs without a doubt. I can't write with or without my pen. The alarm clock won't work. Woe is me, for sleep lurks.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Glad to have you back. You're getting virtual applause, visual applause is galore. Shame we're muted. Hopefully we can get you back in one of the live shows. Up next, we have something completely different, which is always the catchphrase I can use when introducing Mr. Bill Lewis.
So strange to think that of all the people in the world, I am probably the one person who thinks himself to be common, average, ordinary. I think myself not particularly different in temperament or view or thought than any other human being. And I am apparently the only person in the entire world who thinks this way. My representative in Congress was having a reception, so of course I went to the reception and I even made myself a button to go to the reception with. There we go. Imagine no homelessness with a picture of a guy sleeping on one of the churches here in Cambridge. And I keep coming up with all of these imaginative things. If we have 100 churches in Cambridge and 100 people sleeping on the streets, what if we mashed up the churches with the homeless people 1-to-1? Boston has 30,000 non-profits and 1,500 homeless people. If each nonprofit, if 1 out of 20 nonprofits hired one homeless person for a vast 0.1% of their revenues, then there'd be no homeless people. I keep coming up with all these ideas and they don't, yeah, we're not done. I'm not very convincing on this for some reason. I don't understand why. We are unstoppable. A better world is possible. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. Oh, the marchers, the chants, and noble, dedicated activists, unstoppable. They stopped anyway. They just left. Victory in sight, success assured, they surrendered. Or maybe they just got bored. The problem with winning is that the people expect you to do stuff once you've won, like transportation and education and not abandoning people on the streets. Slogans are so much easier. Marches are fun, standouts make you feel noble. But the homeless people are dirty and they smell and they're often very mean. And kids, children are a pain. How come our broken schools don't just fix them for us? We are the woke. We give speeches. You can't expect us to get our hands dirty. If it's broken, it's Trump's fault, or racism's fault, or capitalism's fault, or Catholicism's fault, but not our fault. It's never our fault. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's our friends who are on the streets. Someone else has to fix it. We shouldn't have to. We're the woke. We're the chosen ones. And we don't care.
On the second, she's coming in after a visit appointment. I'm going to give it over to Miss Jan Rowe. Ramsey Number 5000 has selected you.
Thank you. This is called Stormy Weather with Gratitude to the Song. Now, as Hurricane Ivan ravages Florida, imagine islands in the area swamped by the ocean, overrun by water, as though the islands aren't there. My friend spoke of a memorial service. The widow cannot attend as Ian has canceled flights from Florida. She has hotel reservations as her home mandated evacuations since the skirting of her house just covers cinder blocks that are deemed blowable, unreliable. Democracy Now! Makes known migrant workers existing in crowded, substandard, barely a roof housing at risk. Before, a couple decades ago, it's all coming back to me now. Habitat for Humanity houses survive Hurricane Andrew, As Scooby-Doo would respond, volunteer-built houses out-survive others. Oh, due to deregulation, mostly Republicans managed to cheapen building standards instead of building to withstand harsh weather. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Jan, Bill, Nancy, and Ed who have started us out. We're going to give it over now to Mr. Chris Fitzgerald. Let me go gallery view because he doesn't show his face because he's afraid of losing what's left of his soul. Take it away, Chris.
Okay, so you can hear me.
Yep.
All right, two short pieces. The first one's called Anything Worth Knowing. What I have learned in the last 30 years reading at poetry venues in Boston and Cambridge, if you haven't written 5, 10 great love letters between your 20th and 30th birthdays, if you haven't convinced one person you were for real, you're not going to convince 10, 20, 100 people you were a poet. That's what poetry is. Convincing the reader or listener that you were for real. Remember Robert Frost's definition of poetry, grabbing life by the throat. If I don't hear throat grabbing in a poem, it's not a poem. I tore apart Eliot, Pound, Arden, said they were not poets, but apologists for the British Empire or imperial man. There was a one-liner theirs with wit, spine, or charm, something able to expand the language, not contract, not that triumvirate, whimper, double whimper, triple whimper, reverse whimper, double reverse whimper, that they utilized to help choke the life out of the language. Wit, spine, charm. One of those has to be in the poem or it's not a poem. It's a fathead's fraudulent testimony about being alive. And this is the piece I did in celebration of April and National Poetry Month. I am probably one of the biggest name droppers some of you have come in contact with. I'm going to ask you, indulge me once again. This is National Poetry Month. I want to have something special to celebrate the occasion. This pop music literary quote came into my head. It's from James Joyce, early part of the 20th century. If you ask Joyce, what do you do? He wouldn't say he was a novelist or a short story writer. He would tell you he was a friggin' poet. It's not his poetry I shall deal with now, but he was the first one to make me aware that it wasn't poetry that was the criticism of life anymore, but popular music. My initial feelings about popular music, they gave me the feeling, men and women, that they had gotten laid on Saturday night. No one had told them about the wonderful explosiveness of intimacy. So now it's Tuesday and they have had a Joycean epiphany. Fuck this. I got to tell the world what love is and what it's got to do with it. This week and next, I shall sing a couple of verses of songs from the 60s and 70s. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Sloopy lives in a very bad part of town. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And everybody, yeah, tries to put my Sloopy down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Sloopy, I don't give two fucks what your daddy do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. If you know, Sloopy girl, I'm in love with you. And so I say now, hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Thank you very much. Don't forget to tip the waitresses.
I guess the no show tunes rule only applies to Bill, according to John Wesick.
That's not a show tune, Chad. That's rock and roll.
It's old enough to be a show tune now. I'm kidding. Let's let us go now to our esteemed next person. You know what I want to do? I want to introduce we'll introduce Ronald Brummer next, but before that, let's bring up our legacy poet, Miss Julianne Powers. Uh-oh, did she just, oh, there.
Sorry about that. All right. Love for autumn is so fitting for a kind with such fascination over death. Many consider the season majestic, relish in the colors and reap the harvests, commemorating it with the celebration of disguising ourselves as who we're not or who we wish we could be, instead of genuinely honoring the dead. The annual dawn of stalking, trapping, and killing begins, despite how much of the wild we've already taken. So hard to live with, like the sickening mold that accompanies this foreboding shift. Living with soaking wet cuffs and feet, freezing rain, piercing glares, and pounding sleet, each day becoming darker as we get deeper into the wretched, inescapable cold. Trapped in the confines of heavy coats. As death settles in, the outlook for many months to come is clearly desolate. Summer is a truly sweet distraction from the crippling, grueling, shovel out to survive, risk your life to drive hell. Have never missed those bleak, powerless nights isolated in silence. Now comes the time of yearning for the sun's welcoming, warm spirit. This quarter marks the end of the fleeting days of comfort, away from the painful shivering. Trails of tears from generational mourning and dread add to this treacherous torment, All the dearly beloved I once had, each gave up their ghost in the dark hollows of fall. Numb from the biting air, succumbing to the snowballing misery, those that embrace the growing night rejoice in giving up the fight, and the weight of that is utterly frightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Julianne. And now, let's bring up next, Mr. Ronald Bremer. There you are.
Hi all. I'm going to do something called Blueprints of a Delusional Fishman. The blueprint prints a man from a man print, while delusionals fish for the man from a blueprint of his fingerprints, while the fisherman wraps his steely blue gaze upon the man. The man of steel has stolen the blueprint of a man, a fingerprint of a fisherman from hell, the brother of his sister's elbow, who conveys his delusions to the south side of Kathmandu with more than enough postage to reach the Virgin's knee. The Virgin's original clamshell pastes its blueprint upon the face of a fish's pogo stick in the dim and distant future. But in the dim and near past, virginal slime falls to the feet of a fisherman who obfuscates the blueprints of delusion for all the sentinels and all the peoples of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. And welcome aboard to Stone Soup. I hope we see you frequently, or at least semi-often, once in a while, even. Uncommonly even. Okay, what do we have next? Let's welcome up. Excuse me, thought there was a cough there coming. I'm gonna bring up Carol Weston. Oh, first I have to unmute her. There you go, Carol. Ready to go.
Hi. Well, I was thinking about Jack's birthday, and I just sort of sat there and wrote things down. Jack, you are the stone we stand on. Yourself, his birthday was the 13th, yeah. Your self-sacrifice and wisdom surprised us. You would get into our car singing some song I never heard of. You were in tune with the living world, not afraid to act, you said. Postponement.
Just a secret. We haven't revealed the Eggy scheme yet. Oh.
What? Oh God, what happened?
Sorry about that. I am sorry about that. I'm dealing with interlopers. Start over, please. That was my fault. I forgot to mute.
What did? Start over.
Please. It was my bad. I don't want to ruin the poem.
Okay, Jack's birthday. Jack Power's birthday was September 13. So on the 11th, I began thinking about it and wrote these words. Jack, you are the stone we stand on. Your self-sacrifice and wisdom surprised us. You would get into our car singing some song I never heard of. You were in tune with the living world, not afraid to act. You said postponement is the coward's insurance, and you would put your ideas instantly into action.
Wonderful.
No matter how far-fetched they are. You would walk from Beacon Hill to Central Square to present Stone Soup, not having the resources to take the tea. You wanted to die a lot toward the end. Oh God, you attempted to drink cleaning fluid on stage and someone stopped you. You were thoughtful to the homeless from the beginning, making spaghetti dinners at the church near the State House. You created courses at the Beacon Hill Free School. You let John Wieners come downstairs and get a beer out of your refrigerator. When Allen Ginsberg offered to give you money because he knew he was dying, you said, "Not to me, give it to John Wieners." Anyway, that's just a few words toward remembering Jack on his birthday. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. This month's been so busy. I couldn't even remember my birthday was on this month. So I'm glad Carol was there to pick up the slack for the rest of us.
When is your birthday?
My birthday is, sorry, there seems to be some connection. Anyway, no, seriously, my birthday is, sorry, cold. Anyway, we're going on to, I'll tell you what, when you see me walking around wearing a hat like Heisenberg in the Breaking Bad show, that's when you know I've hit what age I've hit and when my birthday was. Anyway. And you shut up. All right, no peanut gallery yelling. Let's go now to Spectrum Chris Robbins. You're muted, sorry. You're still muted. There you go.
Okay, thank you very much. I going to start off with my little ode to Los Angeles, which is why I see these jacarandas in back of me. So I saw those when they were in full purple bloom, late May, June of 2005. But because I lost a disposable camera that I took them on. You're not the only one, Chad, that's gone through situations like this. That makes two of us here. So I decided to build this. I built a movie set and put the trees there by it. With this background in mind, I give you Kissing Los Angeles Goodbye, my ode to Southern California. Standing out here under the ficus tree shade of San Vicente Boulevard, I take a few last breaths of palm tree fanned Los Angeles sunshine before I must drive back to LAX airport and return to my grueling workaday life in New England. I take this last moment to be thankful for my brief, invigorating trip to the great Southern California playground, where I can become any fantasy I wish. At Legoland, I can be an architect and build a heart-shaped house so that love can have a place to live. At Disneyland, I can fight a laser battle against the forces of evil and earn the rank of planetary pilot, third class. Hey, it's better than nothing. I can also become a crooner at a karaoke bar called the Smog Cutter and wake up the next day listening to the frenetic waves crashing onto the eclectic shore of Venice Beach, in which case I can either call upon the spirit of the Doors' Jim Morrison, a patron saint of eccentric misfits like myself, or drive to Randy's and scarf down a double chocolate donut before setting off to explore tar pits or enjoy poetry without words at the silent movie theater, or partake in whatever funky adventure that comes my way. Against the harsh reality of cold expense, I can only hope that someday I can return and once again drive down the streets of LA when the jacaranda trees grow their purple flowers and the winds of time call to me to explore the center of the earth in a Knott's Berry Farm old Western mining car, command a plutonium-powered DeLorean on Universal Studios Back to the Future ride, or just sail on through the carnival joy of Pacific Park. But meanwhile, before I leave this cleansing fantasy and go back home to East Coast reality, I savor these last breaths of sunshine in the futile attempt to hold on to this beautiful time when I'm still half alive and still half myself. So acid reflux, still half alive and still half myself. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Very welcome.
I hope CC can eventually join us. He seems to be having trouble with his audio, but I'm gonna continue now, and we're gonna go over to Mr. John Wizek, who has a new book out.
Thank you,
He
Chad.
said he put a link
And
on. Whoop.
I put a link in there, but I'll put the link in there again because of it. Anyway, for you, I'm wearing my Breaking Bad hat, and I was on the train in Southern
Nice.
California, and somebody said to me, "Are you Heisenberg?" And I said, "No, I'm Schrodinger, and this is
Nice.
Schrodinger's hat."
I don't know what you think I've done. Oh God, love that show.
All right, poem from the book. A world without flowers. In the crusty-eyed hours of morning, we search each other's bodies for answers. I ask her breasts about refuge while she interrogates my lust about belonging and how to make love stay. We find no answers in the tangle of sweaty sheets and salty taste of skin, yet I'm compelled to ask again and again. Hormones fade and leave me with amnesia. Who is this woman? Does her womb scheme against me? Even an arm over my shoulder would provide a clue, but I can't ask, lest I reveal my weakness. So I do what I do best, play along, stall for time, pretend.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Schrodinger. I still have to watch the last 2 seasons of Breaking Bad, or like the final season, like the last.
Dude, you got to watch the last season. Come on.
We were, that show did stretch believability, you do have to admit, but it was like the part that broke both me and my girlfriend. We watched it, and we were actually, this is pre-Netflix day, so I have all DVDs.
Oh yeah.
So I ended up watching all the way till after like the Gus was killed with a bomb.
Oh yeah.
And it was the first, and then they had to ditch the evidence. And how do they do that? By using it, by somehow finding a powerful magnet, as one does.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah.
To do that and to eliminate it, because Gus never saved any paper records. It was always on computer. And after using a powerful magnet to use it to take hold of an evidence locker and erase the laptop, that's when Heisenberg's brother-in-law, also the DEA, that's when he notices, or someone noticed a picture that Gus had on his on his desk, and behind the broken frame, there's actually a list of like numbers, and I'm like, oh, come on. But
it all kind of works. I mean, shit goes down, man, in that last season.
I know. I mean, I know some of it, but I don't know all of it. But I mean, just by osmosis, I know some of it. But
it's worth watching.
I agree. But for some reason, we took a break and we never been able to get ourselves.
About The Wire? Did you watch The Wire?
I want to. I really do. I mean, they say that. As someone who wants to visit Baltimore, I do want to actually see that. Not that I want a primer, like, oh, so this is what crime is like. I'm not. It's not like that.
Start from the first season and go all the way through The Wire. It's great.
Yeah, they say it really explains how the city is, and there's very few places that can actually do that, like filmed on location. I mean,
like Richard Powers and Dennis Lehane and all those crime writers were working on the show too, writing the script. So it's really good stuff.
That's on the bucket list.
Yeah.
And I was mostly talking about that to talk about CC Ashraga finally joining us. CC, I'm sorry I didn't see you until maybe it was too late. Hopefully not too late to bring you in. If you're willing to be on the open mic, we're more than willing to have you.
Okay. Is there a time window here? Is it now or right now? Or is it?
The last person on the round robin is James. Like he's up next. Unless I forgot someone. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
So you're saying go now or wait?
Yeah, I'm saying go now. And if you want to go a little extra because there's something you wanted to read that you finally found in the second round, you can go a little extra next round.
All right, let's see here. Why don't you pull a rabbit out of my hat? Let's see what happens here. There you go. Just open the filing cabinet and pull out a poem. Faith. Faith at its best height of love becomes the love of science at its most honest fallibility. Here have faith, for the come of truths may die. Perhaps they even will die as faith may die, as faith may live. The cellular emotion of a thought's survival, an idea of reality bound to a form's end. Sexual integrity of a primal lust turned to tears. Come inside, you are in love now, with someone, with a body, letting go. And the opposite is true. Born within a structure of aging, conscious, aging, nothing, aging, love, just as love is, and love dies in us, but not in its own heart. You are, love is as erasable as faith is never gone, never owned, never possessed. Have faith, my dear atheist friends. Have faith, my dear atheist friends. My atheist friends are amongst some of the most faithful people I know. That's a conviction. Stop missing true love's home. When you leave its shelter. Remember, the art of love shares creation, and you are never not home when you are apart from creation and destruction. Love each other. And when you see no floor of love, and when walls of love arrive to isolate you, and the doors of love suddenly lock you in and out, and the sky of love forecasts severe weather ahead, let the end of the world fall. Remember, no one is ever right. Your egos are expendable. Dance, dance, dance. Well, that's the rabbit and that's the hat.
Thank you so much, CC.
That's from 2017, True Love or Bust manuscript.
Thank you so much. I'm going to bring it now to our round robin, our robin closer for the first round. Let's bring up Mr. James Van Looy.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a short piece here. It's called As If Economy. As if everyone mattered. As if everyone had enough to eat. As if the people cared. As if all life depended on it. As if time was eternity. As if the moment grew only once. As if creativity was the rule. As if we all really knew what to do. As if life was forever. As if time was eternity. As if everyone really matters. As if we do.
And I have a quick song here. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. It's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their mind, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's coming down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street singing songs and carrying signs. Mostly say we're ready for our side. It's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your heart. It will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of the man comes and takes you away. Stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's a coming on down. Stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's a coming on down. That was the Buffalo Springfield, of course, and their great old song called For What It's Worth.
Yep. What is that?
Thank you, James. We got one more round. Ding, ding. If you want to go a little extra, CC, for your turn, definitely you're welcome to. So sorry, we're having issues getting you on. But we're going to begin at the beginning. And we're going to go to Mr. Ed Galt.
Now, in the last round, I read you a poem called The Hostage, which was one of my early poems written in my 20s. And I want to read you now another one of my poems written around that same period, which is one of the poems which actually helped earn me some money. I won a contest and won first prize, and this poem won that. And at the time, it's called Tonatia, about the Aztec sun god. And these days, I'm just calling it Sunrise. It's essentially about the sun. It's just kind of an ode to the sun. When I was a little boy, you were my friend, driving away the night and the demons in my mind. I would rise early in the morning and look out to see you dancing on the lake, a glimmering carpet of gold. The grass blanketed with morning dew would glisten at your magic touch. I remember how the trees would reach to you and you would reach down to them, sending a shower of light to the smallest living thing. The stream would carry a sparkle to its loneliest depths. You warmed my face and dried my tears when Grandpa passed away. You shone in on little Jenny resting in her crib, bringing the hope of a new day. You lit my way home when I was lost, a lunar lantern in the sky. You revolved around my world then, showing me life glazed over by cotton candy and lemonade. The people I loved, the places I'd seen, the victories and defeats, and the sweet taste of pilfered wine. And you were there, rising in my harbor. Well, this is part 2. Years have passed since. You're no longer the poet's dream you used to be, but a mass of gases exploding in space. I no longer see you when I rise. I guess I missed you on my way to work, but I can still see your reflection shining in the dingy windows of crumbling factories long since shut down. We built new ones, though, much better than before. I suppose you remember a lot of things that used to be. I standing. Oh, do you remember where the park used to be? I suppose you remember a lot of things that used to be. Stand tall and proud as a metallic gods. Our missiles reach up to you and you to them, and how they glisten to your gift. You haven't lost your magic touch. Grandpa's grave is still there, untouched by time and remembered. A few feet away lies little Jenny, who at 6 years met her mother's fatal blow. The people I loved moved away or lost touch. My victories are yellow newspaper clippings pasted in an album sitting on the top shelf. You no longer revolve around my world, but I now revolve around yours. O Tonatia, if it's all the same to you, I liked it my way better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And now unmuting her for her second round. Press *6, Nancy Dotson, and take it away.
Sickness and feelings about war. A sad day to be sick, and oh how I ache. The world dies around me. Why, Lord, kill me? I wish to live desperately each day in your creation by rejoicing gladness in every moment, not hating the day because energy is needed to fight. Quietness and confidence requires fitness to fight well, and even die for thee, Lord, leading to eternal life. Bless me, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Nancy. Good to have you back. Up next, send in the bill. Bill.
So another hurricane has hit Florida. You can see all the terrible pictures, and the news will be happy to show you that. But I'd like to show you a few pictures that the newspaper probably won't show you over the last hurricane in Florida. Oops, what happened? It's supposed to give you. There we go. So there is Hurricane Irma, and look at that. There are 100 people in orange t-shirts getting together to go out and help people recover their houses, mucking out houses, doing all sorts of the dirty work, tearing down drywall, digging up floors, and all these people came out to help, and that is just the coolest thing in the world. So I just wanted you to know that, you know, we have some pretty cool people here in America, and I'm really proud of being one of them people sometimes. And now, my poetic endeavor, melancholy number. I don't need to schmaltzy. Is that the right word? Schmaltzy? Oh well, whatever. Oh, the magic of computers. Eternal fountain of exuberance, my lover of no regret. Stream of joy and sloppy kisses, my sweet, my dog, my pet. On hikes, you never falter, you never fall behind, and utter ne'er a word of doubt, no matter how hard the grind. A woman friend is fine to have, they're very nice in bed, but a canine's more reliable when all is done and said. A dog will never leave you if the toilet seat's left up. It doesn't faze her in the least to check out another pup. A dog is love and loyalty beyond the human ken. A dog stays by her miss or mistress, master, until the very end. Dedicated to my puppy dog, Shotzi.
Thank you, Bill. Dog. Did Julian show up yet? Did Julian's little baby girl show up? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, we're gonna.
No, Nico's there. That's why I gave the dog alert. Nico's
That's what
kind
I
of
thought. I just can't.
hiding in the lower left-hand corner there.
Oh, okay.
She's starting to wake up. It's her time.
Oh, a little girl.
Starting.
Oh, so cute. Anyway, thank you, Bill. And who's up next? Oh, yes, Miss Jan Rowe, if you're willing and able.
Thank you. This doesn't have a title yet. Yay, yay, yay. Jared Kushner got to pay at least $3.25 million. But why did Saudi Arabia give him $2 billion? It took 5 years, but Maryland got him. His illegally squeezing the impoverished, bringing out the last cent. Despite maggots in the carpet and sewage in the sink, he wanted them just pay their rent. He couldn't see it until move-in day. Meanwhile, Jared, about 20 miles away, lived in luxury. Also, Tom Barack, who introduced Ivanka at the RNC, who bought 31,000 foreclosed homes, who was in charge of 45's inauguration. He's out on $250 million bond. Jury not allowed to see his residence. Residences, plural. Most people I know don't even own one. The judge agrees. Don't you know? Wealth prejudice in the juries. So what's he on trial for? Extorting $26 million in fees for substandard housing, evicting a third of his tenants in Georgia, the problem with the ceiling fan that finally fell on the bed by a newborn baby sleeping, owing 170 million pounds in England. No, he's not on charge for any of that. He didn't register as an agent for the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Who do we have next? Yes. Mr. Chris of the Fitzgerald clan.
Okay, so you can hear me.
Yep.
This is a 3-page second half of my Michelangelo piece. I've said before, language is about 100,000 years old. Attitude is 65,000 years old, not next Saturday, but the next. The sense of touch was never allowed to discover itself. Religious theories, political theories, group theories, enabling the group to move forward with a shared attitude, those were the ideas that shaped our sense of touch. Language never needed attitude. Attitude cannot exist without language. Still at this point, we would rather hear parental combat stories, World War II, Vietnam, than listen to Mommy and Daddy in the original start. This is one of my more interesting initial sense of touch stories. This isn't about putting my hand on a girl's breast. That's 2 years down the road. This is 12-13, a rich sense of touch still being just a theory. Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, September, October, I on 6th Street, South Boston, heading towards K, on and off the stairs of a brown two-family house. For some reason, I have broken into describing what I'm going to do to this 12, 13-year-old girl once I get her clothes off. I'm speaking to 5 or 6 of my friends, same age. Can't remember what prompted this outburst, but I was in the groove. First off, I'll make sure to hang up her clothes neatly. I don't want a 12, 13-year-old girl going around town bad-mouthing me. Oh, I had a great time with him, but ended up with 2 wrinkled shirt sleeves. I won't see him again. I couldn't take that. Then I described how I was going to handle that body of hers. Never got pornographic. It was just playing off the great sense of being young and alive at the time. Her shoulders, her breasts, her thighs. 3, 4 minutes in, boom. 4 or 5, 12, 13-year-old girls explode out of that brown house's hallway in hysterics. I guess they were coming out when they heard this nut speaking. They kept quiet as long as was humanly possible. They'd never heard anyone speak like that before. They were laughing. My friends were laughing at me. They were neighborhood girls. I knew them all. I didn't apologize, didn't walk home. No one knew how to act, so you didn't. You were just yourself. The biggest laugher, my friends thought I liked her. The biggest laugher, her friends thought she liked me. So for the next year or two, whenever my friends who were there saw Lily walking by the corner or in a shared space, they would yell, Chris, there's Lily, Lily. Lily wants to know, is there anything new you want to do to that richly rewarding, nubile, supple, wondrous body of hers? Or is it same old, same old? My friends and I had a genius for criticism. When you stick a knife in someone's back, you twist it just enough to avoid a fatal wound so that when it heals in 3, 4 weeks, you can do it again. Thank you.
Glad to hear that this predated the touching breast poem. I'll be waiting for the restraining order poem very shortly. And up next, followed by the Me Too poem and by the, all right, anyway. Being an awkward adolescent, I do not want to poo-poo anyone's half-ass escapades. Mine are full ass. Anyway, that sounded even worse. Anyway, shut up. All right, here we go. Let's go now to legacy poet Julianne Powers. I'll never get tired of saying it. Oh yeah, check out her work in Oddball Magazine this past Monday.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. This is a really short one. I apologize if you have already heard it. The golden hour. During the golden hour, the trench wall looks like a mountain with its black hole bending towards the light, momentarily welcoming. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, back to our first timer here, Mr. Ron Brummer.
Okay. Okay, this is called Isadora. I am a ball of twine that rolls up crumbling mountains whenever I can. I wear a long, loud scarf around my neck and wish I had wrinkles to hide with it. I am a bag lady with bags of memories to tell me who I was before I was wise. Dresses buttered with flowers burden my bosom. Jewels on my fingers and fragile perfumes defy the dark grave that my unborn grandchildren pass around like a tray of hors d'oeuvres. I know that I am as light and airy as baby's breath, and shall be so forever. That's Isadora. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. And now I'm going to unmute once again, Miss Our Lady Queen of Stone Soup, Miss Carol Weston.
Hi.
Someone's got to
So
take up the
Ed
queen mantle.
So Ed Gold's poem about the sun, written when young, and got me thinking about mine. And it was in 1953, and I was born in 1934. Well, anyway, so I was 16, I guess. Ambitions lie like such petty clouds on a tired mind. What business has the voice of reason to thunder their mist into rain and make them fall? The ambitions that must fall for the good of all. Reason, I am sailing away now on my ambition's cloud. Your thunderous voice can never overtake me. I shall sail into the fire of the sun, and there my ambition's cloud will turn to steam and rise, but never fall to. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And now we bring back the full spectrum again with Spectrum Chris Robbins. If you got a second poem, that is, I'm sure you do. And you got on mute.
I most certainly do. And this one I first wrote back in '86, but then I republished in 2002. But a couple months ago, I saw the play, the '60s rock opera Hair, when it came to the Company Theater in Norwell, and when I saw that play, I decided to rewrite this yet again, called Flower Power Lives. The spirit of flower power survives despite being submerged below the spotlight. Our hippie vision is up against demonic iron white serpents who seek to destroy the true essence of our '60s ideals by puncturing the necks of our generation and mainlining their deadly opiate of affluence to drown us in the big chill of a mainstream filled with lies such as time is money, peer pressure is democracy, and to be beautiful, you must destroy yourself with chemicals. Brothers and sisters, stand up now, turn back their materialistic dictatorship, and plant community gardens to nourish people instead of profits for a change. Sing the songs of the universe that fill us with wisdom and surround us with harmony. Leave behind your carnival sleep. Break away from the corporate mythology that you've been fed. And above all, keep our message of peace, love, and compassion going beyond the confines of a stereotypical decade. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you indeed, sir. And thanks for coming out and being at least a regular 2 times in a row on the open mic.
Welcome.
Now we have newly published author John Wessick once again.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I actually got to be in the crowd scene in the movie Hair. I was in graduate school at the University of Maryland, and they had this call for people to come down and just be in the crowd in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And so we all went down wearing our hippie garb, and there was a scene where we had the Twyla Tharp dancers singing that song "What a Piece of Work Is Man" while they're picking the pockets of the corpses and stuff who died in Vietnam. So I don't know, it was kind of fun. They had then had us all kind of run, and then they had like a Bonnie Raitt concert to reward us for taking part. Okay, here's another piece from my book. City of acute angles, I awake in the round hours of night from dreams of rectangles, and the A-frame I occupied on Euclid Street, with its weeks of rented VHS tapes and drawer packed elbow deep with kibble for Spindley, the cocker spaniel, who, ears flying, dived in and out of neighbors' hedges. First light scours dreams of home from shadowy corners, and I am alone again in one of the high rises, tessellated over the landscape of concrete and rust. The coffee maker sighs and the AC gasps as picture windows convert solar radiation to sweat. Since my stove applied for Medicare, it's become less motivated to fry. I count the wallpaper's liver spots while the elevator with sore knees climbs to my floor. It complains all the way to the garage and my daily demolition derby. Roads of concrete, roads of tar, winding roads, fractal varicose vein roads, roads to take you away, roads for your return, roads over bridges, roads with five-way stops, overpasses, underpasses, clover leaves, roads packed with semis, sedans, school buses, SUVs, pickups, garbage trucks, vans, and all the occupants' hopes and fears, figure skates and college funds, utility bills and mortgage rates, cheating husbands, shrewish wives, one class left for that MBA. I wouldn't trade an AMC Gremlin with a busted stereo for any of it. After a day at my office cube, I pedal the elliptical while Paul's spout hyperbole on the radio. With movies and novels banished to assisted living for repeating themselves, I've nothing but a question. Is this all there is?
Thank you, John. We now come back to our late entry in this royal rumble of a round robin. Let's welcome up Mr. CCR Chagra.
Let's click on that. And hello, can you hear me? All right. Let's see. Gods of ethical questions. And so came the god of wrong into being. This birthed the undying of questions. Once and now facing the looking tri-mirrored living glass. Time and illusion and reality fell together. Here, the holography of unknown spirits saw its own reflection for the first time. The eye of mind beyond form, within its translucent, opaque, and formless ways, was here tested at the threshold of timelessness. Mother Nothing could only offer eternal gratitude as a choice. All dimensions of potential measure or form risked the birth of godlike egos and division, to be the found of now lost, until their respect of Mother Nothing returned. To all that is love's fulfillment of soul's emptiness at peace. And I don't know if you guys remember, there used to be this doctor who had a band, and she used to show up at Stone Soup, and she used to sing. The name of the band was Somebody's Sister. She later on ran for president. She was asked to dress in green for the party. She walked into the reel's capture of reality makers. The belief machine of sights and sounds were aimed at the surveilled, where all mind-embedded images kept lying to us to chew clear through our eyelids, to program we will never see again through the looking glass. This is why no one leaves the allegory of the cave. It is honestly designed to keep you in your own chains. She once set upon this shadowy stage, the questions asked of her were traps, and the invite was a setup too. Their power to ignore her was inverted just to bait her, for the truth of her character was beyond their rejection. The sharpness of her freed mind was transparently fear-free, and her presence clear as one who lives on the present ship of life. And to the ones who are off their anchored script, she tossed a life preserver to them, but they were not allowed to catch life. She, against this machine, could not think through to your awareness. She was a dangerous woman to the reality slavers, a threat that sees behind their many curtains. The ones hiding the reality slavers, puppeteers of puppeteers too. And she naturally exposed their thought control methods. So while the masses still thought, thoughts were still theirs. She showed them all through the public media mindscape, through the public freed questions on the open airways, as all public belief became mind control warfare. The reality slavers were losing their mojo. The answer to their fear of love was 24/7, endlessly ongoing, and over again, 365, terrorize, terrorize, terrorize. You are under attack, and the enemy's near you. They want your guns, and the children are shooting. The air of free breathing beings will care for you, will kill you. It says, the air of free breathing will kill you. Terrorize, terrorize, terrorize. It's called In You from Do You Know Who Your Reality Slavers Are? Work in progress for sure. Her name was Jill Stein, if you don't remember. She used to come to Stone Soup.
Jill Stein?
All the time. She had a
No
band called
shit.
I got videos of her. She used to come to TT the Bears with her band. I have her album.
Did she get Donald Trump elected by stealing votes from Hillary?
Oh no,
That was
no,
George
no.
Bush.
They won't leave her alone. Now she's along with what's his name, the comedian, and what's her name with Empire thing. They're all just being demonized. Anybody telling the truth is a Russian asset.
Wait, who's
We're
she's
fucked.
being?
We're fucked.
Okay, well,
Jill Stein is a human being, and there's not much room at that level for one. She's not a dummy. She's
I'm gonna have
lucky
to
she's
find her on
alive.
Twitter and ask her for Stone Soup photos if she's got them. That'd be amazing.
I have the video of her band.
Well, get on that, man.
Yeah. You and an $800 machine I can't afford.
Maybe we should crowdfund that next month or in May. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well, there's all the videos from. It's probably in the archives, but it's on VHS over at UMass.
I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I know.
One more thing. Up next, and last but not least, check out his column this coming Thursday, which means tomorrow, if it's all one thing. And I hope he is there on October 15th with the rest of you fine people reading poetry for the patrons of the arts at the one of the Fort Point Arts galleries. It's actually not our gallery on Sleeper Street across from the Crab. It's another one. I think it's 300 Summer Street, that gallery, and they're looking for like a 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock show. Once the information should be finalized and they should have been printed today, according to Dwayne. So hopefully I'll get more information on that. But enough of that. We have a lot to look forward to in the coming months. Let's welcome up James.
Okay. So I have a poem here that came directly out of Stone Soup, actually, in 2016. And actually, it refers to something that Chris actually had a video of Putin singing on Blueberry Hill, okay, the famous wonderful rock song on Blueberry Hill. And but this poem is called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, which is Cab Calloway's song title from 1931. Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. What more narrow escape could there be than the mariner named Scene, the devil, that runs along the waterline its very self of that deep sea that has become so very blue? The satanic literalism finds ever more demons who demonically, of course, hatch new identities in the hothouse incubator of the tiny village we made of this poor old globe that turns ever into itself. And you know, all those cells so deep within all of us that they all want the right to be and to exist somewhere between the false choice of lesser evilism and the ever multiplying infertile gradations of identity politics, always just waiting there, like all the progress we've made and how great everything used to be when the devil was red and the deep blue sea had not yet turned red too with red tides and those pesky invasive creatures wet-backed on the beaches and borders and turn to keep the trade routes open and keep the Spratly Islands as simple tidal rocks. And Vladimir Putin singing on Blueberry Hill, if only we could keep the devil above the waterline and the deep blue sea in safe harbor where it belongs. And here's an old song. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun and when the light is new. I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. Thanks. I think that was really big at the end of World War II.
Thank you, Mr. Van Looy. And I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. This was sort of last minute because I've just had a head stuffed with, I don't know what, not COVID, but just something. Be careful for the flu because apparently it's very easy to catch. I apparently caught it from a coworker who's 8 doors down from me. I only talk to behind masks like 6 times a week, if that. So, of course, it could have been a number of other places, but stands to reason I got it from work. So be careful out there. Some of these new, even if it's not COVID, some of these viruses coming out are pretty fucking tough. They get underneath. They're like pirates. They latch onto your mask and go board, you know. So it's nuts. Take care of yourselves, and I probably will put up the information, if not today, then tomorrow for next week's feature. It's a little too late to get a feature reader now for the first week of March, but who knows? But I definitely have some ideas of our poets for October leading up into the elections, the midterms. And of course, if anyone knows of anyone with a book coming out, we do have a long list. And the only downside to having an extra month at the gallery, if that happens, is that Dwayne wants it to be an all open mic. He doesn't want to actually have a feature poet. And I can see the pluses and the minuses for that. So the course is to start implementing the online features again, especially since we have a lot of people scattered all over the country, especially with the pandemic bringing a lot of us together. So hopefully we will start to make that work for us a little bit more. thank you all for those of you who've agreed to be part of Stone Soup. We do have some featured readers, and I assume Dwayne will want an open mic. The ones who I've talked to are featured readers, but if anyone's interested in being a featured reader or just being on the open mic, it's private, message me on Facebook and let me know. It's October 15th. I think it's 300 Summer Street at the 4 Point Arts Gallery. And John Lane has already agreed as well. So, and John Wisick has agreed. Julian has agreed. Ed Galt has agreed to host. So those are the ones I could just get on a moment's notice. And it's probably not going to be a remote thing, but you never know. I won't be there in all likelihood just because I have a prior engagement with a charity run that I've been helping Jason of the Oddball Foundation with. So it's a conflict. I try to get it on Sunday, but it looks like I might not be there. But I want you all to be there because Dwayne is already impressed with everyone representing themselves at Stone Soup. I just want to keep that going. And hopefully by November, I will be back with a feature I've been waiting to announce for years. I've been kept on trying to get them back to Stone Soup. The last time I featured them, I think it was November of 2005. And Jack was still in the audience. He had actually decided to host that night. And for some reason, I was never able to get her back. So I don't know what the deal is, but they've gone through quite a bit. So I don't want to put pressure on them. But now that they've moved into South Boston, it seems like a Seaport poetry reading would be perfect. But then they got COVID. So I will keep updates about that, and let's figure out what our end of the year feature will be like. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Let's do the. I'm going to do my special modified wave. I hope the rest of you chime in. There we go. I know, CC, you're not a follower. That's so thank you guys very much for coming. And we are signing out for one more week. Keep watching for more news. Stay tuned for news on the Massachusetts Poetry Festival. If anyone has a suggestion for panel discussions, either online or live, the Massachusetts Poetry Festival in May is offering both. So put your heads together. If you have a suggestion, I have headed up 3 panel discussions since and I've been part of one additional one as part of Massachusetts Poetry Festival's history. So I would very much love to support one of you if you guys want to do something as a Stone Soup Presents. So keep me posted and we'll go from there. Thank you all very much and have a good night. Oh God, John. Yes, there's plenty to discuss about panels. Anyway, cool.
They're wood, pressboard, wood, plastic. Which is best?
Good night, everyone.
I love panels. They should just.
We've lost the conversation.
Good night.
Good night.
Night,